Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be coming out with a brand new series. It's going to be called the Focus ST Best Turbo Selection Series. So this series is going to be all about what different turbo options there is for the Focus ST. We're going to be showing you guys what kind of spool times you're going to get out of different ARs, what options you need for, different bolt-ons, like what power, what bolt-ons you would need to support the turbo, the horsepower range for these turbos, the price range, and if there's any extra upgrades to maximize the efficiency of the turbo. We're also going to mention that if these turbos are going to be suitable for a daily driver, are they going to be best for street, track, drag racing, non-daily, stuff like that. So hopefully you enjoy the series. Like and subscribe. So if you're wanting to upgrade from a stock turbo and you do not want to spend a lot of money, then the Garrett PowerMax is the turbo for you, because it's a direct bolt-on. It's identical as far as the size of a KO3, produces like 20% more airflow as far as the design goes. So I got some pages printed out here. There's someone, Turbo GT, did a review a few years back, let's see, in 2019. And there was about a 20% in gain of horsepower, which is pretty decent. So here is the specs or the features of the turbo. So you got a complete assembly, 350 rated horsepower at the flywheel. You get the OE level boost response, so basically it spools like a KO3 between the 1500 and 2200 RPM. You got the brand new GTX Gen 2 designed compressor wheel, which will flow 16% more over stock. And then you got a in-canal wheel for the turbine, so that will handle 950 Celsius. The stainless steel turbine housing, which is rated higher. And I believe the KO3 has a stainless steel turbine housing too, but I'm not 100%. I believe it does. So it's also got a 360-degree thrust bearing. It also has the stock location for the boost solenoid. Now it does use a different bypass valve than the ST and an internal wastegate solenoid. So you're going to need to upgrade. If you want to upgrade the plastic piece, which is highly recommended, you'd want to go to a RS style bypass valve for this turbo, because they're interchangeable from the RS turbo to this one. And you also can upgrade to the the Turbo Smart internal wastegate to handle like the maximum amount for the efficiency of that turbo if you really want to push the limits, which honestly I would just do that anyways. Just put a upgraded internal wastegate on it just to kind of maximize the turbo as far as not really pushing it to the max on horsepower, but you always want to keep it in the safe limit, but you want to make it as efficient as possible. So having a better wastegate, better bypass valve, or if you block it off, I'm sure there's a block off plate to run a external blow off valve. You can do that as well, which a lot of people do. So let's see here. That's kind of what it looks like right there. Stock location, bolts right on, just like the KO3. The bolt-ons that you need are the basics. So anything that you would basically run with a stage 1 through 3 KO3 stock turbo, all the bolt-ons that you would typically get for that. You got the downpipe upgrade. The intercooler definitely is a must. Highly recommend. That's like one of the first things you need to do for any turbo vehicle is an upgrade on the intercooler, just because it will allow your charge temps to run close to ambient air temp as possible, or the outside temperature. That's what you want. When you compress the air, it heats up, and you need an intercooler that won't heat soak and it will run efficiently. Now you don't need a depot racing or CPE intercooler for a turbo like this, because it's just going to create more lag. That's for cars that are making, 600 plus wheel horsepower, honestly. So it's just, and there's a lot of weight on the front end. The horsepower, there's a dyno comparison. I'm gonna take this sheet down right here so we can kind of dial this in. So this guy did a dyno. The blue line was with more boost, and it had more timing added. So the blue line was 287 wheel horsepower at 4,800 RPMs, 4,820, 342 foot-pounds of torque at 4,000. And the smoothing was at 2, so that's pretty good. The red one was at 272 and 331, so I had a little bit less timing. And I believe those were done on pump gas 91 at elevation. I think it was at higher elevation. I believe this was tested with Allen at their shop. But yeah, so they ran 15 degrees of timing at 6,500 RPM, and they gained about 30 horsepower and 20 foot-pounds of torque from 5,500 to 6,500 between those RPMs, which is my stock turbo dyno sheet. So you can kind of see the comparison. The normal KO3 torque spikes really hard, but it drops right after 4,500 RPM. It drops fast like a rock. This was stage 3 bolt-ons too, so with a SCT programmer, not a Cobb. So it's 269, 315 torque, and that was the estimated horsepower at the crank. So you can kind of see the difference. There's not as much of a drop in the torque, which is the biggest thing, honestly. So, and the price for the turbo is around $1,225 to $1,250. Then you got your taxes, and depends if they charge you for shipping or not. You can get this turbo from ESP, Elliott Specialized Performance. He can sell this probably for about the same price. I highly recommend going to Elliott Specialized Performance's website, just because he's a great guy and he's a small business compared to these other guys that just like to push products out the door and market the crap out of everything. So, but let's see here, upgrades. So yeah, you got your blow-off valve, that's all done there. But yeah, this is a great turbo. I mean, a lot of people have upgraded to this, and this is probably one of them turbos. I'm really not a fan of hybrid style turbos. And to me, this isn't really a hybrid turbo, but it kind of is, because it's the same identical frame size as the KO3, except it's a Garrett. So in a way, it's not a hybrid, but it's definitely, a stock replacement for sure. So is it really worth doing? I mean, you're going to be spending around $1,500 total if you upgrade to the internal wastegate Turbo Smart to maximize everything. And then you're going to be upgrading your bypass valve. So, those things are going to add up. It's going to be about $1,500. Is it really worth $1,500 for, 30 wheel horsepower? Some people think so, but you got to remember that these kind of turbos here, these smaller turbos, when you start overspinning them, past, I don't know, imagine 25 PSI, just like the stock KO3, it's going to wear out quick and burn up. So you can make 320 wheel horsepower on E30 as well. So that's like the max right there. 93, the range is 280 to 300, like 300 being the max for 93. And 280, 285 is about the safe range for this turbo. And then the torque would be, what does it say? So like 330, probably 320 to 340 foot-pounds of torque, which honestly is about the same ballpark as the KO3, because the KO3 makes buttloads of torque, so it's kind of crazy. But it drops like a cliff, so that's the biggest thing right there. So with a conservative 93 tune, you can be at this right here. So 285 wheel horsepower and 330 foot-pounds of torque at the wheels. Obviously make it more aggressive to reach 300 horsepower like this said here. Reliability kind of goes out the window. So this here is showing the stock turbo range. So that was 237 on the stock tune. Stage 0 is 90 degrees, looks like. Third gear they're using for some reason. 5,300 RPM and 267 foot-pounds of torque. 4,204. And then with the Garrett PowerMax is 285 on the same pump gas, and at 5,279 and 318 foot-pounds of torque at 3,670. That was done on the same day. So I hope you enjoyed this video. We're going to be talking about a bunch of other turbos coming up, including the new turbo kit that Stratified has come out with. It's right there. I'm going to do a nice special video on that one. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.